Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Patanjala Yoga Sutra Pathah Prathamodhyayah Samadhi Padah.
Namo Namo sir.
अथ योगानुशासनम् योगश्चित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः तदा द्रष्टुस्वरूपे वस्थानम् वृत्तिसारूप्यमितरत्र वृत्तयः पञ्चत्तयः क्लिष्टा अक्लिष्टाः प्रमाण विपर्यय विकल्प निद्रा स्मृतयः
Namo Namo everyone.
Namo Namo.
Good morning and
Namo
good
Namo.
evening to everyone.
Namo Namo.
So, it is the third day of Patanjali Yoga Sutra course which we started this month. Nice to see you in this early morning, and three of you it's early evening. So we will start our session. The attendance is expectedly low. Sunday morning है लेकिन जो है वो काफी है. तो
सब लोग आते रहेंगे.
लोग आते रहेंगे. So last, I think obviously we will have to start with
Our
the homework
Yeah.
which we have started last week. The homework.
Okay, Ramesh.
Yeah. Who's this?
Ramesh Damani, he said, I will leave and get back again.
So the homework was to identify the motive behind the actions, and in that
Some
identity.
issue. आपल्याकडे issue आहे. The screen is frozen.
नहीं. Ma'am, I am able to listen and see.
अच्छा. Yeah. तुम सुन रहे हो ना? हाँ.
हाँ.
Okay.
Nothing is from you.
So, yeah, there may be some internet. So, the exercise was to identify the motive behind the actions, and basically with the purpose of classification of that motive into klishta and aklishta activities. And within the klishta also, we had 4 classifications or 4 motives. One being the image, second being the likes, third being the dislikes, and fourth being continuity. And there was also the identification of aklishta activities. तो क्या इसमें कुछ शेयर करने जन लायक है जो आपको कहना है, बात करनी है? Yes. You've been talking in the groups. The people who have been talking in the groups are the people who are here, most probably. but still. और कुछ इसके ऊपर any difficulties which you faced or any revolutions which have happened, any breakthroughs? Oh, ऐसा होता है. Is
I
there
think
anything
that the Aklishta activities on likes and dislikes and power/ego, whatever, those parts were more easy. The continuity was the one which are almost you don't even because they are habitual, because you do it, you don't realize that that is the motivation. In some ways you have to actually think about it a little bit before you realize it. At least that was what it was for me.
correct?
I didn't get his point.
Yeah. So he feels that Aklishta was easy to identify and
Because they are habitual, inculcated good habits.
yeah.
Okay.
We are not able to see you, many of you, but and there is some continuity problem at our end also.
There's freeze होते
It is
screen.
freezing. Shall I try logging out and logging in again?
Yes, I think should do that.
Yes, sir.
I think I'll log out and log in again. I'll make one of you as a host, then reclaim it. Yeah, I think seems to be better. Yeah. So yes, what I seemingly the Aklishta motives are easy to identify and continuity is most difficult. Absolutely right. Because see, when you have an Aklishta activity going on and the motive behind that is Aklishta, obviously your attention is there to it. So it is easy. And when there is continuity, obviously you are in a continuity and you are bound to get lost and
Yeah.
miss that moment. Yeah. Anything else? After 2-3 experiences, feedbacks, I want to reveal something which maybe which you may have experienced, अपने experience किया होगा, लेकिन मैं अपनी तरफ से कुछ के बारे में बात करना चाहूँगा. Anything else?
Yeah, so I think I don't know why my video is not showing up. I don't know whether you guys cannot see me or not. This is
We can see it.
Okay.
Your screen is frozen, but we can hear you.
Okay, I don't know what's going on. I'm having
That's fine.
difficulties on my end. Sorry about that. No, I think just as with the Bhumi exercise, at least for me, it took maybe a few tries to go back through the content and understand the ask, if you will, of what was the homework. But broadly speaking, I think the process was very similar to after the first class in the sense that there is maybe more awareness of these issues about the bhumis, about the vrittis. You start thinking about it a little bit more than you did before. So it's very, very good in that sense, I guess.
Yeah, that is the whole purpose of the whole exercise. I mean, you got it because it's not about getting a right answer. It's not about reaching there. It is about increasing awareness.
Yeah.
Awareness increasing is the only purpose of this whole exercise, because see, when we are learning about Patanjali, it is all about inside, our own inside. Patanjali does not speak about what is the world outside. Patanjali would never tell you what the other person should do. He will always tell you what you should do.
Hmm.
So, so to know what you should be doing, you have to be highly aware of what is happening inside, and that is the trick. That is the whole game, So, and we are not aware of what is happening inside. Let us admit that, and
Yeah.
we are mostly outside. The whole endeavor is to understand what is happening outside, how to control outside, how to perform better outside,
Yeah.
how to, yeah, see, it's all about that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little
Most-
difficult to turn from outside to inside.
Yeah.
And this whole exercise is about developing awareness inside.
Very subtly, Patanjali telling us, you fools.
And the thing is, when you live in this world, all your feedback, all your reward structures, everything is tied to the outside. So that is a very conditioning that conditions
environment.
you. Yeah, exactly. It just
Yeah, it's not for our age, but I think even for the baby, you can see children today's world, like so much extrovert. And my experience, ma'am, I would say what I learned apna Patanjali, for the examination point of view was very different than what I'm doing here with you today, which is very, clear in my mind that what are we going for.
I want to double down on that, which is I think that without these exercises, I don't know that we would actually have even absorbed any of the material in a sense, because I think it forces you to think even between classes. Otherwise, you just learn some structure and some things on paper. And in fact, I probably would not pass an exam, but I at least will remember these two exercises. So
Yes. Yeah, that's right. So the whole point is to go inward, because anything else we can take maybe a short last one. No problem, Anisha.
We are just conversation and
Yeah,
having
we are having
conversation.
So-
Preliminary homework discussion.
So the revelation which I had, I mean, I would like to reveal over here that it's going to be a little funny, but the whatever exercise we were doing, probably it was wrong. So that is going to
The
be
way we are oriented in towards life itself is wrong.
yeah, let's get that thing slowly. Otherwise, it's going to be a big anticlimax. But what I would like to say is, 1 second, I'll just try to change my internet to some other connection, because I think I'm having a problem.
Yeah.
Hey, Vardha, at this point, can we ask for a refund if the exercise was wrong?
That is precisely the reason why, because at a class you're going to find out whatever we did was all futile.
Right.
अरे शुरू में बोलना था ना.
Yeah.
No.
So ये जो सब कुछ किया था वो actually सही नहीं था, वो exercise ही गलत था. क्यों? Let's understand. I'm not saying totally wrong. Of course, the whole purpose was to get the awareness अंदर अपने जो अंदर झांकने की आदत है उसको थोड़ा सा बढ़ाने की है. But pointing out at this klishta, this is a klishta, and this is because of image, this is because of like, this is because of dislike. This further part of it is a little, I mean, I don't think it is a very
No, it is
perfect
quite
exercise.
a,
It is because they are all connected. They are all connected. Image है इसलिए like है इसलिए dislike है, और image like और dislike है इसलिए continuity है. Okay. So all of them are actually interlinked, interconnected. But yes, some of them will be a little at the surface. But if you scratch the surface, you will find that they are all connected. Okay. So but if you try to do that scratching, it will be an internal activity. It will be an internal contemplation. And in that, you are going to lose the awareness of the present. What is happening? So I did not want to introduce that earlier, but now it is fine, okay to understand कि ये सब interlinked है.
अभी तैयार हो गई to receive more. We are now understand. We are. It's kind of getting prepared to go further deep. I think that's how this whole process has happened.
So
I
turn
think-
inwards.
I think many have now
Mhm.
joined. We'll
Yeah.
formally start the prayer now. Upright, sitting upright and tall, everybody. Join your hands for prayer. योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचा बलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि आबाहुपुरुषाकारं शङ्खचक्रासिधारिणम् सहस्रशीर्षं श्वेतं प्रणमामि पतञ्जलिम् ॐ
Shanti,
शान्ति
Shanti. Namo Namah. So we start ahead. Last time we have spoken about this Klishta and Aklishta classification, and we got introduced to the next classification of vrittis, which are modifications of mind into 5 vrittis, 5 types, which are Pramana, Viparyaya, Vikalpa, Nidra, and Smriti. Okay. Anuradha, Dilip, Pratibha, Manisha, if all of you, I mean, some of you can open
Switch
your,
on your
whoever it
videos.
is possible, if you can switch on your videos, that would be very nice. Thank you, Anuradha.
Sir, I
Thank you,
cannot.
Manisha.
I'm just have
No
to leave for the
problem.
class, so I'm
I
busy
said
with the
whoever possible.
Yeah, sorry,
हाँ
sir.
ठीक है, पैकिंग कर रही हो क्या?
नहीं
थेपला बना रही हो
नहीं
क्या?
नहीं किचन वर्क करके मेरे को क्लास है ना वहीं पे.
Okay, all right, no problem. Okay,
Sir,
so
for some time.
okay, no problem. So I hope you are able to hear what we are saying properly, because we do have some listening, some net continued connectivity issue. You are able to hear, right?
Yes.
So having done the Klishta and Aklishta, now we come to Pramana, Viparyaya, Vikalpa, Nidra, Smriti. Some of you have already studied this subject. I know that. Some of you are yoga masters, some of you are YTEs, some of you are YWIs, and some of you have contemplated on that. Some of you, it is new subject. So all kinds of people are there. So we will start from very basics. What is Pramana? So those who already know it also need not get disheartened, because there is something definitely new, or some new understanding is going to come from this class of vrittis also. Though you have learned, and some of you are teaching this also. I know some of you like Dilip, Anuradha, you are teaching this to the YPI, YWI classes also. But still, for you also, there will be something more. Okay.
I want to add one point before we go ahead. See, in the first sutra, when Patanjali has a second sutra, when he has said that the aim is to reach to the Niruddha Bhumi, that is established. And we have also learned through this exercise of Klishta and Aklishta that largely the mind is drawn outwards. And because it is drawn outwards, it is multidimensional, and that is why there are multiple thoughts. When we come to realize the futility of outer world, that's the time when the mind is likely to go inward, and inside it is going to concentrate on only one, that is the self, to know the self. So from multiplicity of thought to one thought. And then from one thought to none thought is the basic map of yoga. So if I have to progress in this direction, first of all, I need to develop an ability to concentrate. So in yoga, the first part that we are discussing is about samadhi path. So all of us, even if we make an exercise, 2-minute exercise, just to sit quietly and close the eyes and do nothing, I'm sure there are going to be multiplicity of thoughts. So let's experiment it for 2 minutes. Okay. Okay. So this exercise was just to come to a point that yes, there are some thoughts. Maybe there were some moments where you were not thinking at all, but there could be some moments where you are sensing the fan, light, external noise. There could be some moments where you are having some yesterday's thought or some thought that I want to do ahead. So Patanjali has brought this contention that if I want to reach to the Niruddha, what I need to first stop is the thought process itself. Niruddha itself, stopping the vrittis. That is, Niruddha means to stop. Yeah. And for reaching to that point where there is no thought, it is probably practically very impossible condition that Patanjali is giving us. And probably there have been many occasions where I heard, is it really so? I mean, we are thinking continuously so much. क्या कोई बड़ा उल्लू तो नहीं बना रहा है कोई अपने को? You come to that point also because it is so, where for us everything is so real, and to think that no, this is all futile. It's very difficult proposition or hypothecation that we are coming to. It's very difficult because this is the hardcore reality for all of us. So that's why Patanjali has brought these 5 vrittis. So he is by analyzing the vrittis, Now he is driving us to the first enemy, if I can say, or obstruction is thoughts. If you're asking us to go to the no thought zone, but what of the thought that I am having? So he uses thoughts as the means to know oneself. And
So one interruption which I have is, did any of you have this question of why at all have reached this state of no thoughts? ये झमेला करना ही क्यों है?
I was more in where Sandhya was saying, which is like it's impossible. I mean, obviously it must be possible because some people are saying it is possible, but
Yes,
at least for
yes,
me it seems impossible. Yeah.
No, but
Accord-
any
according-
answers to why at all have this come to this situation? Why not? It's all life. Let's enjoy it. Let's live this life the way it is.
Kokila,
So, what we learn in the first level, they're saying that the ultimate goal is liberation. And so your soul, your consciousness, you're trying to get to that point with keeping your mind calm, getting all your energy introvert, and reaching towards the moksha or the liberation. I think that's the ultimate goal. So it's a different level, living in the society. But if one can do it, one can try for it. That's what the goal is.
Yes,
yeah,
Anuradha?
Anuradha say. Anuradha,
Okay.
Sir, this is unstable. So I will just switch off the video. It'll be very clear.
Yeah, no issue.
So I don't know if I'm right in saying this, but what I feel is that if our ultimate goal is realization, samadhi or realization, so if we are continuously thinking, we will never be able to know our true self because of the ripples. It's like ripples in the lake, bottom cannot be seen.
No, but why know the true self at all?
Oh, why know the true self?
then
Okay.
let us enjoy the ripples, no? Why want to go
No.
beneath the ripples?
So, yeah. One more thing I have realized is that we do our karmas through our thoughts, words, and deeds. We keep on making karmas. So, if you want to, stop that, we need to stop at the source.
I know. So good, nice. You have a view of the entire all the 4 chapters, so you can definitely understand that. But,
So Nitin and Sandhya, on the why to do this thing, I thought that like 10 minutes ago, but now that I'm here, because my friends are watching a movie that Rocky or Rani Ki Kamar Kahani. So I left it. No. See, the point is, if that thought would have occurred, it would have occurred 10 minutes ago, not now, because I made a choice to do this. And so that's why the thought did not occur. And I think the meta point is, I don't think anybody would be on this who isn't trying to figure out, hey, let me try something different, right? I think that's maybe the reason why that thought didn't occur.
I'm not surprised at that, but of course you will realize how it is little different from what it is, because curiosity is not the only the reason why one should try to explore, because there is no reality in what we are experiencing outside. Okay, whether you think from a Dvaita point of view, the duality point of view, whether you think from a mono Vedanta point of view, there is no reality about what we are experiencing outside. It keeps changing, and
it is unending.
It's unending, and because it is changing, there is behind that there is a lot of pain and misery, and it will keep happening throughout the life. And ultimately, as and while we are going through this journey, we are constantly making some impressions which can be called as karmas and sanskara. And ultimately, when we exit also, we think that, okay, this is the end of life. Now, come on, that's all. I'm done. I'm exiting. Even that is not an exit. That is the whole point. That is not the real exit. क्योंकि इसके बाद फिर से आके आपको आपका होमवर्क कंप्लीट करना है. The problem is you don't realize that I have done something in the past, but when you come back, with a lot of backlog. Next semester में आते हैं तो बहुत backlog लेके आते हैं कि ये पढ़ाई
Three
नहीं.
stages of karma. 3 stages of karma is carrying back.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So there is no reality in this. Yes, Dilip.
A good point, Vaishnavi.
Dilip, आपका mute है
आवाज
भैया.
आवाज unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Uh, I'm audible, sir, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to share it with more practical perspective. So you mentioned, sir, ki why not enjoy the life? Why you have to go into this kind of things, right? So primary things start from there only. So for example, my journey also, the journey started with the enjoyment only. We want to be happy, we want to live happily, and we look for the happiness, right? So we start from there only, and then suddenly you realize when you go towards the anything. For example, if you are going for the pleasure, there will be an opposite things which will be which you are going to experience, because whatever the thing which is giving you a pleasure, it's going to give you a pain also moment you lose it. So at a practical level, when you start repeatedly experiencing this, you are going for pleasure, it's getting converted into pain, and those opposites exist. Then first experience is outside, and then slowly you start going towards inwards, and you realize that these things are happening within you only. It's all about in your thought process. And moment you come to know that it's happening because of thought process, then you somewhere start realizing that this all pain is caused, pain or pleasure or whatever you are experiencing, this duality, this is caused because of the thought process. And then obviously the journey begins. So now, wherever it takes you. So that's all from me.
Move ahead.
Yeah, we'll move on. Just give me one moment. I'll just give you one revelation or experience that whatever we thought was pleasure and pain 5 years back or 10 years back or 20 years back, today no more it is a pain or pleasure. Okay, I don't want to give that experience, but we got married at some point of time, we thought it was pleasure. But over to you on that point.
After the class.
The pain will come after the class.
The class is over now, right?
No.
After the class, there will be pain. So that's what the point is.
अभी breakfast खाना है ना.
तेरी journey अब शुरू होगी.
Yeah. Okay, so let us come to the vrittis now. So Patanjali wants us to come to non-thought, and that is why if I want to stop thinking, then I must know what are thoughts, what is the character of thoughts, and the character of thoughts is the vrittis. Okay, so the 5 vrittis we have been hearing the words, I'll repeat: pramana, viparyaya, vikalpa, nidra, and smriti. So pramana are the thoughts which are based on logic. So in logic, what is it? And that logic is like, it is a right knowledge of things, right knowledge of reality or the facts that are present to me. So why do I call these pramana and why do I call it? It is authentic because I have seen through my eyes, I have heard through my ears. It is happening in front of me. So it is called pratyaksha. So the basis of coming to the right thinking, first basis is pratyaksha. That is which I am seeing through my eyes and I'm experiencing. It is based on my own experience. That is pratyaksha pramana. Second category of pramana is anuman. Anuman is inferential knowledge. Now the inference is Standard example for inference is given. If you see a smoke, there must be fire. So that's an inferential knowledge. If you are right now smelling something, yeah, that means there is something cooking in the kitchen. And then what you will do? Oh, by the smell, I know whether it is a dosa or a bhajia or a samosa, because I have the data in my memory that this particular item smells like this. So I can infer, even if I have not seen it, but I can infer. So that is inferential knowledge. So we have pratyaksha knowledge, we have inferential, that is anumana knowledge, and third is agama knowledge. So agama is a very, very important aspect, because in agama, probably I don't know, but I trust my teacher. My teacher told me so. My mother told me so. It is followed as a parampara in my family. So all these are establishing these norms that are established, that will fall in the category of agam for our day-to-day life. But technically, agam is a knowledge which is based on scientific textual reference. So the study that we are doing today, what we are sitting over Patanjali Yoga Sutra and trying to crack what is all about, we are holding the Yoga Sutra as a guideline. This is the agama for us, and we believe in this agama. That is why we are able to study this. So agama knowledge. Clear? So pratyaksha, anumana, and agama. And
So if you are cognizing anything, if you find, okay, this is real, this is knowledge, then you can always say that it is coming through three channels, either one of the channels, three channels. It is coming through my actual sensual experience, sensual or extrasensual experience, I would add that. Okay, because
that is also a pramana.
that is also a pramana. Second is, it is not seen by me, but I can infer through the right method of coming to a logic. So it's a very big subject in Western psychology. It's a science by itself. Logic is a science by it. Committant, non-committant variables and all those things, I'm not going to go into that. But if what I am seeing as a dependent, it is real, and what the relation in my mind, that means I see smoke, which is real. Smoke to main dekh sakta hu. And smoke and fire relation in my mind is also real. It's an established relation. Then I can infer that fire must be there. Okay. So it is a so inference is something which is you can say it is not fixed. It will depend from person to person. It could be different. Okay. So that is inference. Agam, you will, for now you know the reverence of the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. So you have reached to a point that whatever Patanjali says, Baba, it has to be right. Okay. But if you ask some other person who doesn't know anything about Patanjali, he will say, what shit there? What I mean, this is not how it happens.
This is a ragging.
You have come here to enjoy life, and you are saying that forget all that and do some samadhi and all. Okay, bullshit. So ये भी उसका thought हो सकता है. So for that person, Patanjali is not an agam. So it's not a pramana for him. It's not the right knowledge for him. So pramana is variable. It will differ from person to person depending on whether who from whom you are getting that knowledge, he is a apta or not. Apta means whether you believe that whether you trust that person and whether you trust his experience, his words. If you don't trust that person, it is not a knowledge. If that person has not experienced it himself, then also it is not a knowledge.
So pramana is authority. Yes, Ramesh ji.
So G kaun hai yahan par?
Sorry, just habitually.
So actually the other I'll ask this question. So pramana is also not something that is not static, right? It is evolving.
Everything is evolving. I mean, I didn't understand your question. Static.
No, so when you're talking about the agama, for example, about Yoga Sutra, right? So if you had asked me a month ago, my reaction might have been very different, right? And so for all the three pramanas that you talked about, every one of them is not only is it it varies from person to person, but it's also constantly changing within the person.
Yeah. In that sense, yes. Now you have explained it well. I understood it. So it will be changing because three things. Because your senses are also changing. Senses are the least which are changing, because what you see in the childhood today also, it is right. Only thing is probably over a period of time, your listening ability, seeing ability, sensing ability may go down. So to that extent, it is variable. Okay.
And it is a maturity of your mind in the process. For you in your childhood, your toy kit was so important in your life. You would fight tooth and nail with your friends for it. But today it is not.
But that is a further chitta part of it. But what you see and find as real, it is the least variable. Anuman is something variable. Yes, because experiences keep building up throughout our life. So you build inferences. This is a very basic and raw example of smoke and fire. But then today it gets refined. Since this person is there in the Zoom, this meeting may be good. Or since this person is there, it is going to be chaotic. These kind of inferences also we draw.
All
These
kind
are
of
also
generalizations we are
Yeah,
having.
knowledge keeps building on. So to that extent, it is variable. And apta also is variable to that extent, क्योंकि हमारा trust level change होते रहता है. Today I trust this person, tomorrow I may not trust this person. To that extent, it is variable. Yes.
And agama is the signature of the authority, right? So if there is a report card, your principal has signed on your report card. Yeah, so that's authority is there. And the biggest signature of authority is our own mind. If I am convinced, and that is why when Ramesh, you asked, it is variable, when the authority of my own mind is involved, at that point it absolutely becomes variable.
Yeah.
So that is pramana. Pramana is right knowledge. Okay. Any clarifications required on this? Otherwise, we'll go ahead. Yes, Kokila.
Yes. So what I understand,
sir, in
one second, Anuradha, Kokila wants to ask you. Then you can.
So what I understand is a pramana is a right knowledge, as we learned in the past too. So, but this all based, right knowledge will be based on pratyaksha, anuman, and agama. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, so there are three different ways it can be analyzed under pramana.
Established. 3 is either or. It's not this plus 3.
Yeah, no, it's either or. So one of them can be applicable for the pramana, for the right knowledge.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Anuradha.
So, sir, in one commentary, I don't remember which book, I had read that Praman is something that cannot be contradicted. Then it falls under Praman, otherwise it can fall under Viparya or Vikalpa.
Yes, right.
Absolutely.
So
right.
that is the difference.
Beautiful.
Something like...
See, Anuradha, you have pointed very rightly that we will get the clarification when we understand the next one.
Okay.
But beautiful statement, yeah.
Yeah. So
no, sir, why I'm saying is because it was just now it was discussed that if something it is variable, but if it cannot be contradicted, how will it be variable? Something like a law of gravitation cannot be contradicted.
Exactly.
That comes
Exactly. That is why it is like our exercise. We will tell you to do this exercise, and tomorrow we are going to come and say this was all wrong. So wait for it. So at this point, it's an evolutionary. So you have to establish with this understanding first, get settled on that. Now, since you know something beyond, and you say, "Arey, ye to aapne pehle class mein aisa bataya." Hold it.
So coming to Viparyaya. Viparyaya is wrong knowledge. So now before elaborating further, we must understand Viparyaya by default, it is, yeah, okay, Nitin just said about sutra. So
Pramana ka bhi.
I'll tell the sutra of Pramana also. When Patanjali is describing in Yoga Sutra, he says, Pratyakshanumana gamah pramanani. So now with, as we are discussing, every time we are starting our class with the sutra recitation, you will be able to catch those words. Yeah, ye bataya tha class mein, right? So Pratyakshanumana gamah pramanani. So Patanjali is a man of few words we know. So what he is telling, he just enlisted the vrittis and then he says, Pramana means which is based on Pratyaksha, Anuman and Agam. That's all. Beyond that, his job is over. Baki tum tumhara sir phodo aur pata kar lo kya hai. Maine bol diya. It's like that. Okay. Then he comes to Viparyaya. He says, Viparyayo mithya jnanam atadrupa pratishtam. So that is what he says about Viparyaya. So what does that mean? Viparyaya opening word is Viparyayo mithya jnan. So it is a mithya, which is false. It is a false jnan, false knowledge. तो अभी पहले वापस हम लोग प्रमाण पे आ जाते हैं. प्रमाण में क्या हमने देखा? It is also a knowledge. But so the knowledge is always based on some प्रत्यक्ष अनुमान और आगम काइंड ऑफ अ प्रमाण चाहिए, तो ही हम उसको नॉलेज मानेंगे. चैनल चाहिए तो हम उसको मानेंगे. तो विपर्यय ये भी तो नॉलेज ही है. अगर वो नॉलेज है तो उसमें भी प्रत्यक्ष अनुमान और आगम तो चाहिए ही. But only thing is, based on all this, what I have earned is a wrong knowledge.
The classical example which is given on that of this is Rajjo Sarpa. Rajjo Sarpa matlab in dark
I see
misunderstanding the rope as a snake. Considering rope as a snake. So andhera hai, so rope is there. Something is there. But I am not able to cognize it properly. I am misunderstanding it, and that wrong knowledge is being established on the basis of whatever is seen. So that is your viparyaya. Okay. That also needs three things. I think Sanjay will.
Praman, viparyaya.
Viparyaya also needs three things. It
बोला ना प्रत्यक्ष अनुमान आगम बोला. वो बता दिया. तो
Yeah.
अभी उसमें
So
क्या
this could be, so an example, so if you watch a magician's show,
yeah,
and you see a bunch of things, you infer a bunch of things, and you know that the law of gravity is there, so something should be falling, but it has not fallen, etc., then you are getting wrong knowledge, and therefore it's viparya. Is that a right example?
Absolutely right. Absolutely. And you, it's a very good example, because going ahead, you will understand how they are merging, or how, what we are understanding is wrong. What all things are viparya and what all things are pramana in our understanding. Yeah.
So all our arguments in our life with our near and dear, with our boss, with whomever, is based on my personal praman.
Mm-hmm.
So my personal praman and his personal praman, and that is how we are having an argument always with other person. Either we are having an argument with the person or a reality in life or a situation in life. All that is because I have inferred something, and because I have inferred, I believe it is. That's why I said signature of mind.
Yeah.
It is my mind. If my mind feels this is it, then this is it.
So what do you think about a situation where there's an expectation? So somebody comes, I'm walking down the street and they steal my wallet, and I see it, and therefore they've stolen my wallet and I'm angry, right? But it's not an inference, I've actually seen it, but books have taught me that stealing is bad, and therefore I think this is bad. And so I have attached a bad feeling towards it, instead of saying, poor garib aadmi took the money and he's going to have, laddus.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
So
so is that an inference, or is that a very different?
No, see, it is an inference. Definitely it's an inference. That's why I said that going together, they are going to merge
together.
merge together. But yes, there's a lot of things involved. And because chori is bad and someone has told you.
Yeah.
So there is a kind of agam also involved in that. And you have seen this happening with your eyes. So there is pratyaksha also. There is multiple knowledge which has been, so three things together, you come to a knowledge, conclusion that yes, chori ho gaya hai and chori is bad. These are two different realities.
Two different
which you have.
conclusions.
See, again, for that chore, let us take the extension of that chore. तो अगर वो चोर ने चोरी कर लिया और उसकी गैंग में चला गया, उसने बोला यार ये लोग आज मैंने ये पॉकेट मार लिया, तो उसका जो दादा होगा गुंडा बिग बॉस, वेरी गुड, शाबाश, अगली बार बड़ा हाथ मार लेना, right? That is the authority he has got. That is his agam, unfortunately.
His agama,
So that is how the world is functioning.
Viparyaya is wrong knowledge. You can think of multiple examples. So can you just bring out example like what Varda said? Can you get some more simpler examples of Viparyaya? What can you think of? Just we'll spend 2 minutes on this. It's for everyone, all of you, just to get participation of all. Manisha, yeah. Manisha, Vaishnavi, you are silent. जया बोलो जया पता है ना तुमको?
विपर्याय थोड़ा अनुमान के साथ मर्ज होने वाला मैंने सोचा था कि जैसे एक्लिप्स के महाभारत के कुरुक्षेत्र के युद्ध में एक्लिप्स के दौरान सन ढक गया था, तो सबको लगा कि सनसेट हो गया, अनुमान, लेकिन वो फॉल्स नॉलेज था कि सनसेट नहीं हुआ. तो फिर वो विपर्याय की कैटेगरी में आ गया.
Absolutely right. बराबर है Manisha, that's correct understanding. Correct. Anyone else would like to try it out?
Sir,
any experience? Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Anuradha, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So in our day-to-day life, it could be viparya, could be we assume a lot about others, judging others.
Yes.
That could
Judgmental,
fall
yeah.
under.
Correct. That is viparya. So
Because-
we can say that is viparya. Okay. Ramesh, you were saying something?
Yeah, just to build on that. So if you have incomplete set of inputs, you don't know different aspects of that fed into what you saw or experienced or and then processed through your framework, your agama, then you could also end up with viparya, with false knowledge.
Matlab, what you are seeing is what you see, but conclusion which you draw is based on a wrong process system.
Yeah.
Then also, yes, correct. Any simpler example? Soni?
सोनी कितनी दूर बैठी हो?
हाँ, बात ही नहीं कर-
Sir, one simple example.
Yes, Pratibha, बोलो.
थोड़ा like
बोलो.
what I think about my husband, what he is and what he does, वो क्या करता है? हाँ?
Simple नहीं, बहुत complicated example लिया. I'm sure Shankar is not aware around.
He is there around, सुन रहा है वो.
Okay, all right. Yes, Soni.
So, for example, we hear some lecture or something, and we sometimes derive that knowledge that this person is not prepared or something. Just because we have not read that commentary, we come to this conclusion that it may not be right. But we forget that it is always the perspective which commentary shows. So that moment of time when you derive this knowledge, this person is not prepared, that is viparya for us. हाँ, क्योंकि हम एक wrong knowledge में उस समय जी रहे हैं और फिर हमें over the time of period पता चलता है this was the right perspective. We are supposed to have different commentaries. का मतलब ये होता है कि हर किसी चित्त भूमि से आपने उसे explain किया. So that is the moment when you get viparya about that person or something.
I get it, Soni. I get it. So, no one knows the stories behind that, but I get it. Yes. All right. Okay. So, Soni, बहुत तुम
बहुत शातिर हो, बहुत ज्यादा शातिर हो.
Okay. Now I'm going to explode one bomb again, that whatever we thought was pramana whatever we thought was pramana at one point of time, coming from where Sony, what Sony said, it is also applicable there, and all of you, is actually viparya. It could be actually be, because the commentary also says that viparyaya is viparyaya until it gets turned into pramana.
But until it is
Proved wrong by another pramana. Okay.
And by design, every viparya will be proved wrong. That is why it is viparya, because it is a wrong knowledge.
For example,
जब तक वो prove नहीं हुआ है, तब तक वो प्रमाण है.
So simply explaining the Rajyo Sarpa classical example, we thought that the rope was a snake, and whatever it had effect it had on our mind, we experienced all that.
Yes.
Until the point someone put the lights. Oh, now I get the rod. Oh, it is a rope. So now the correct knowledge dawned upon me, and now my other things. So, but in the meanwhile, I went through all this pain and misery about experiencing a snake. So, in the same way, the viparyaya about this entire world is there with me until there will be a right knowledge. And that right knowledge has to be very, very establishing, and you should be convinced of it, not because someone is saying and you are assuming and you're believing, and it's not that. It is the right knowledge for me because my mind has accepted. As Sandhya says, your mind is the right. Yeah, it's the final part. Yes.
See, it is like this. जब भी आपको ऐसा, oh my God, मैं तो कुछ उल्टा ही समझ रहा था. ये जो आपका मोमेंट है ना, वही आपका विपर्य से आपको बाहर निकालता है.
So anything can be viparya.
Got
Everything can be viparya. Okay, Kokila, you are saying something.
I was saying about the weather reports, always there is two things happening and they prepare you for something and it happens something else. And when you come to know, the weather will be changed. So I think I see that all the time in the, day to day.
That's right. But that now see, here the weather report, it is a viparya. But if for you it was wrong knowledge, if you had agam, please understand.
No.
If you believed the weather bureau, and if you believe that, oh, this is what they're saying, so it should be like this, and later on when it did not turn out to be like that, it became pramana. Okay, but first of all, whether you believed, आजकल तो ऐसा ना, अच्छा weather report ये बोल रहा है, मतलब definitely कल rain होने वाला है.
No, it is true.
Agam is not there,
many
so it
times
is not
here,
different.
yeah. Many times people say, whether people are getting paid for saying something different than what actually going to happen.
So you are listening to those people. So your agam is something different. You are listening to those people who have formed the opinion that the people get paid and they say something. So that is your agam.
Something.
That is your knowledge. That is, and that also could be viparya.
Yeah, so till the authority agam comes and enters that, hey, this is going to happen. So you accept it and come to the pramana when actually the tornado comes or any hurricane
Again,
comes.
no, it is not till. It is not till. It is one of the things. It is one of the things. You have a very strong opinion that whether people are paid and they do something on a purpose. That is something which is very fixed in your mind, and that is creating that knowledge. Okay. Until one day you maybe whether people do something and it happens the same way. So it is your pratyaksha knowledge.
Correct. Experiencing that.
And probably I don't want to complete that. I think this is
actually viparya. Nobody accepts viparya. None of us wants to accept wrong knowledge. Every wrong knowledge that we accept is we believe it to be right. That is why we accept it. But on one fine morning, it is turned futile. So viparya is a wrong knowledge or a knowledge which can be proved wrong is viparya.
Ma'am, I want to.
Dilip bolo.
So I was just
Last
thinking,
question and then we'll go ahead.
So I was just thinking for example, whenever we do any act, whether we do any kind of act we are doing, at that time we think either from pratyaksh or anuman or from this is right. Okay, and unless and until when the result comes, then you realize जो experience है, it gets completely changed, right? And then फिर जो है आपका perception change हो जाता है, and then प्रमाण, this based on प्रत्यक्ष, अनुमान और आगम get changed. Oh, so विपर्य से the process will start. I'm going little थोड़ा सा आगे. विपर्य से process, and slowly everything you will find viparya, and maybe then finally you will reach to the self which is actually praman.
Yeah, you're jumping the gun. You're going to the end.
It is no. It's like this. वो जेले पहले क्लास में बताया था ना, माइंड को चुप किया, अरे अच्छा ये माइंड नहीं है, उसके वजह अच्छा ये अहंकार है, अच्छा नहीं इसके वजह बुद्धि है, इसके वजह इट्स लाइक दैट. So it is all you're jumping and you're peeling off the layer and then you're reaching the truth. Yes, correct.
So actually, when we are going to do the exercise, let me go to future and come back. That when you're going to do this exercise of Praman Viparya identification, actually there will not be any Viparya. Everything will be Praman only. Think about it.
एक easy example है जो मैंने पढ़ा भी है. See, आप सुबह उठते हैं, you open the window and you see सारी जगह roads गीली, and you draw the inference first that it was raining. थोड़ी देर बाद आपको पता चलता है कि नहीं, ऊपर के घर से लीकेज आ रही है और वो सब है.
Absolutely right. Correct. Very good example. Very good example. Yes, sir.
Inference and ये विपर्य के लिए.
बढ़िया. So let's go to Vikalpa. The next. Now, whether it is Pramana or Viparya, there is a reality that you are perceiving. उसके आधार पर ही आप कुछ ना कुछ बना रहे हो. दृश्य तो है ही आपके सामने.
वेदर मतलब पानी है, रस्सी है, वेदर बेरो है, दिख रहा है.
There is a sensory input, but Vikalpa is not based on sensory input. It is based on Shabda. So what Patanjali described is Shabda Jnananupati Vastu Shunyo. He is very specific. There is nothing. Reality में कोई सामने आपके दिख नहीं रहा है, वस्तु शून्य है. फिर भी उसकी वजह से आपके मन में वृत्ति उपज रही है, थॉट प्रोसेस उपज रही है, and that is विकल्प, शब्द ज्ञानानुपाति.
So
अभी हम लोग जो चर्चा कर रहे हैं प्योरली शाब्दिक है. जैसे सोनी ने उदाहरण दे दिया पानी वाला, तो हम लोग के सामने किसी के भी सामने पानी नहीं है, पर हम लोग ने इमेजिन किया पानी था, ऐसा कुछ नजारा उसके सामने हुआ होगा, उसको सुन के हम लोग ने कंक्लूड कर लिया. सो दैट इज विपर्य, विकल्प.
So the shabda is very specifically, it means what it means, like words, like hearing something and
yes, you got it absolutely right. Shabda has to be there. Shabda, it is based on Shabda. It is based on Shabda.
So will we come to it in the future, or does it also include a smell? Or
ना smell नहीं, smell तो sensory input आ गया ना.
नहीं, what his question is right. I understand. When I was saying yes, that time also I was also thinking that if I am thinking, I'm looking at an object and then I am imagining, then is it not an imagination?
ना सुनो नहीं. It is like this. अभी हम लोग जो बात कर रहे हैं, हम लोग प्रकृति पुरुष की बात कर रहे हैं. हमने क्या कहा? पुरुष इज अ कॉन्शियसनेस प्रिंसिपल. किसने देखा है? ये तो शाब्दिक प्रमाण है, उसी के ऊपर चल रहे हैं ना हम लोग. सो इसका ही विकल्प है ना, ये विकल्प ही है हमारे लिए.
Got it. Okay, when I did the 2 minutes sitting around and I smelled something and I thought bhajia was being made, is that praman because I smelt it, or is that vikalpa because, or I heard a sound in the kitchen? Is that vikalpa?
When you say it was sound, it could be vikalpa. When you said it was smell, it is either viparya or praman.
No.
For you, it was praman.
See, I get your point,
Yeah.
Varda. When it is a sound, see, you're sitting here and something has fallen and there's a sound of some object falling. You have, but it is a reality. That object has fallen is a reality. It can be instantly tested to be real. But when it is a shabda, there is not real testing nahi hai uska. That is why it is only pure imagination only. जैसे हम लोग हमेशा बताते हैं, लाल रंग का हाथी is either black or white, जो हम लोग को दिमाग में डाला गया है. अगर लाल रंग का हाथी, can you imagine if I tell you red elephant? Yes, you
Yeah.
can imagine an elephant. And this
Got
is
it.
So difference between the other senses and Shabda is that Shabda gives you some meaning in between, meaning which is open to get explored
Imagination.
further.
Yeah.
But when you say smell or when you see, it is within itself, there cannot be anything. It is what you saw. It is
Got
what you saw.
Yeah.
So that is why only Shabda. But it's a very, very good observation that why only Shabda.
Discussion. Yes, correct. So it is, don't go by sound. It is anything which is proved in real terms is not Vikalpa. Vikalpa by definition is imagination only. अभी
Got
आप
it.
सोचोगे कि मैं कल जाके ये करूंगा वो करूंगा. It is all your vikalpa. Sheikh chili is a very good example of vikalpa only.
We'll
Got it.
complete the next two and then we will get into discussion. Otherwise, we will not complete the.
But sir, in
Yeah.
Vikalpa, the main is Vastu Shunya.
Vastu Shunya is
Yes,
absolutely.
Vastu Shunya is the
Yeah,
thing.
you are
Because
right.
the difference between Vikalpa and Viparyaya is that in Viparyaya there will always be an object which is perceived wrongly, but in Vikalpa there is no object, only
There is
image.
only Shabda. There is no object, there is only Shabda. That is what is happening between you
Vastu
and me
Shunya.
now. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Got it.
Next.
Next is Nidra. Nidra is a deep sleep. Now Patanjali is talking about reaching to a non-thought. ये पहला ध्यान में रखना है हमको. नो थॉट चाहिए उसको, कोई भी थॉट है ही नहीं. ये स्थिति में हमको पहुंचाना है. मगर जब हम सोते हैं, हमारा सोते समय हम लोग को कुछ इंप्रेशन मिलते हैं हमारे निद्रा के. कौन से इंप्रेशन मिलते हैं? When I wake up, I tell I slept well. और ऐसे नहीं रे, मैं तो रात भर पता नहीं क्या कर रहा था, सुबह उठा तो मेरा बॉडी पूरा हेवी लग रहा है. I don't think I rested. So in whichever way your sleep has been, while you were in that condition, you were going through an experience. And whatever experience you were going through, it was being registered in your mind. आपके मन में वो रजिस्टर हो रहा था जो क्या हो रहा है. और जब आप जाग गए तब आपने बता दिया कि हाँ ये हो रहा था मेरे नींद में. So that means मेरा माइंड थॉटलेस कंडीशन में नहीं था. पतंजलि को हमको थॉटलेस कंडीशन में रखना है ना. तो अगर आप गहरी नींद भी सोए तो भी आपने उसका एक अनुभव किया. आप उस समय उसके प्रति सतर्क नहीं थे. आप जब भी जाग गए तब that time you are telling this is what had happened to me. That means even nidra is an obstruction in the samadhi state and it is not wanted. जैसे समाधि करके बैठे बैठे तो हम लोग बोलते मेरी आंख लग गई. अगर आप समाधि करने के लिए बैठे हो और आपकी आंख लगी या झपकी आ गई तो फिर आप अनकॉन्शियस स्टेट में चले गए, आप मूढ़ स्थिति में चले गए. वो नहीं चाहिए.
So it is the one of the modifications of mind only. Just like praman जो modification है, viparya जैसे modification है, विकल्प एक modification of mind है, वैसे निद्रा भी एक modification of mind है. It is one of the ways. So Patanjali, what he is trying to do is he is giving you an exhaustive list of modifications which can happen. So he can't leave out nidra. So nidra is one of the modifications. अभाव प्रत्यय आलंबन वृत्ति निद्रा. अभाव प्रत्यय, अभाव मतलब किसका अभाव? अभाव ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस. उसका प्रत्यय, मुझे पता है कि अभाव था. This itself is a modification. So that is what is nidra. So you will ask me what happens when you sleep and you get dreams.
Yes, I was going to ask.
Yeah. So dream is praman. By that logic, dream, you can call it, it is not nidra. Because there is something which you are cognizing. When you are dreaming, जब आप स्वप्न देख रहे हैं, उस समय आपके लिए वो सही है.
तब तो आप सोए भी नहीं थे, स्वप्न देख रहे थे, तभी तो आपके लिए वो जाग ही रहे थे आप, मगर वो आप
So,
सपने में
wait a
थे.
second. In the 2 minutes that we saw silent in the beginning, I was actually experiencing, without sleeping, I was actually thinking of all kinds of things. And all of those things were visual images. To me, they seemed like a dream. Is that a praman?
Yeah, it is. It is a praman because for you it was real. It was real. And yes, when there is a mental imagery which is happening, it could be vikalpa also.
That is where I was going to.
It can be anything. In your dream, you can be, it can be pramana, viparya, vikalpa, kuch bhi ho sakta hai. Because it is based on your memory, what you have lived in your day life.
Prior life.
Because you process something based on some facts and you came to a conclusion. For you, it was real. Your mind itself is the agam. You came to a praman. But then you were planning, you were futuring about something and which is not actually happening now. That is vikalpa. Yes, Ramesh, you wanted to ask.
Yeah, so I mean, let's take the red-colored elephant as an example, right? So when you introduce the vritti of vikalpa, you said it's got to do with shabda. Now in dream, let's say you dream a red elephant, but there is no shabda. So how is that vikalpa?
That shabda is in your mind.
I said it. No, I told you think of red elephant.
No. In the dream, he's asking.
The dream.
In the dream.
In the dream. Okay.
In the dream, it is your shabda, your own shabda, mental occurrence. Shabda as not what is cognized by your ears.
Okay.
It is something which you
data inside you,
which is in inner
impression,
sound, inner sense, inner sound, which gave you a shabda. You know, it can be like that, right? So what happens when you are writing a poetry, Ramesh? There is some shabda which is going inside, and on the basis of that, you write a poetry. Okay, you want to write a poetry on rain, but that rain word has to get registered in your mind. On the basis of that, you
प्रतिभा जाग जाएगी आपकी.
तो ये शब्द जो है वो external, internal दोनों ही हो सकता है.
Okay.
Yes, Manisha.
Manisha saying something.
हाँ, उसने हाथ ऐसे किया.
सर यहाँ शब्द लिटरली वर्ड के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में नहीं लेना चाहिए मेरे ख्याल से. शब्द यानी द थिंग विच कैन ओनली बी डिस्क्राइब्ड, विच इज एक्चुअली इट इज एब्सेंट, विच कैन ओनली बी डिस्क्राइब्ड और हम परसीव कर सकते हैं ओनली विद डिस्क्रिप्शन. तो इसलिए शब्द यूज किया है.
Good, correct. So it is shabd. What I mean, what I understand, it is not a sound, but it is a shabda which has an associated meaning to it, and I'm imagining the meaning out of it.
So it could be, very nice, Manisha.
So that shabda remains in your memory. So that's the next one. It takes us to from vikalpa to nidra to
we will go ahead.
smriti.
We'll go ahead on that point. So because we want to complete the 5 vrittis, if not ahead. So
Smriti
is the 5th one.
Anubhuta Vishaya Asampramoksha Smriti. It is a very, very beautiful description of what Smriti is. Anubhut, जिसका मैंने अनुभव कर लिया है और वो भूत में हो गया. It is past. It is over. Anubhut, जो हो चुका. Vishaya, that is topic, subject matter, which is actually calendar wise, it is over. Time phase wise, it is over. Asampramosha, that means it is not yet over in my mind. I am recalling it over and over again and again. That is smriti. So everything, हमारा सब basic thing, मुझे किसी के साथ झगड़ा हो गया और I felt I lost the argument. Actually, I very well would have won the argument, but I lost it. But now there is no going back. but my mind is not satisfied. Mind doesn't accept that the time has gone, it's over. My mind recalls, मैं ऐसे बैठा था, उसने ये कहा, तब मुझे ये नहीं सूझा, तब मैंने उसको ये कहना था. So what are we doing? हम लोग enact करते हैं उसको हमारे mind में. All that is smriti.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Yeah, it's just like if you go to a party or watching a movie and you come home with the same images, impressions, and you chew it like a chewing gum, those ideas, good feelings, bad
Yeah,
feelings,
very,
everything you
very,
chew it. And
very.
this is very clear. Yeah.
Yes.
One
So
twist to this is a psychological memory and a physical memory. Okay? Because now when I see you, Kokila, when I see you, at all the time memory is required. Because I call you Kokila because at one point of time it has registered in my mind that this face is called as
Kokila.
So this is a physical memory. But
Okay.
if I,
functional memory,
it's a
which is
functional
required,
memory which is required.
required.
And psychological memory is what Kokila said last time. What is her understanding? What I mean, all this data about the experience
Discussion.
which I had from Kokila, that is a psychological memory. So I am keeping it open now that physical memory should not be taken as a smriti. Psychological memory can be taken as a smriti. Why? Why? Because by the experience of this thing. So because everything otherwise, everything is smriti only.
See,
There is nothing which is not smriti.
I get your point, physical smriti and psychological smriti, but
This is Rohit
when
Mehta's point.
yeah. But when
Yes.
I'm sitting, I want to do meditation, इसके लिए मैं बैठा हूँ. जब मैं meditation के लिए बैठा हूँ, तो मुझे मेरी स्मृति डिस्टर्ब करे. I'm not interacting with the external world. I have kept my eyes closed.
Yeah. Okay.
But the smriti of experiences of past, they are now and they are coming like an avalanche. थक करके आ रहे हैं क्योंकि माइंड को अभी जगह मिल गया उसकी कहानी सुनाने का, तो बहुत सारे विचार आ रहे हैं. So smriti is a major hurdle.
So yeah,
Psychological
even that, yeah, and mostly psychological. But then it doesn't have to be like today, yesterday, or tomorrow. कोई वो memories नहीं. Even from like years back, का कोई भी
Yes,
which
of
you
course.
feel.
Of course.
You know, sometimes
When-
you feel like, oh, I never thought about it. Why it came to my, especially when you're trying for meditation. Those memories just start, coming out.
Yeah, because
That's,
as Sandhya said very rightly, because your mind did not allow that smriti to come because it is already overcrowded with so many things. Now, when
Correct.
you sat for meditation, the most conscious ones, you shut them off. Now, when you are shut them off, someone who was waiting at the end of the line, ha, abhi mera chance hai, he'll come.
So true, so true.
And
So,
that's why you
sir,
get all kinds of weird ideas when you sit for meditation. Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah, so this is what happens, right? From pramana to viparya vikalpa, all this I feel like it's so interconnected.
It is absolutely.
Yes, so I think now I'm going to think of more examples like what and how it is interconnected.
I think we have come to the end. Only one last question. Anuradha. Yes.
Sir, question नहीं है. Again, I had read about so smriti is what makes us suffer all the time.
Absolutely.
Because आज मैं अपनी याददाश्त खो जाऊंगी, याददाश्त चली जाएगी. I'll be सुखी because कुछ भी
आदमी of the world.
So
why does anybody
Patanjali,
name
I
their
think
daughters?
in one sutra he says, no, we should try. Of course, we need, like you said, we need physical smriti always. We cannot forget everything. It will be like an Alzheimer disease then.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. Yes.
we need to purify our memories past, which will stop affecting us in the present.
Yeah,
If it is still affecting us,
we are going to come to that in November.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that Praman Viparya Vikalpa Smriti, I'm always fascinated by this, that Smriti is to hai jo hame itna dukh deti rehti hai.
So one point I have to
Absolutely
make
right.
that Vyas
bolo,
says
sorry.
Vyas point of view He said Smriti not only brings up the experiences, but it brings up the process also. That is what Sage Vyas said. So it is very important point कि वो पूरा process तक याद आ जाता है, and that gives you that.
या कैसे वो बना, वो
कैसे बना,
experience कैसे बना,
जब
हाँ,
वो
process
हाँ,
क्या
वो
था उसमें,
उसका विषय
absolutely.
सब कुछ आपके मन में आ जाएगा. It will also make a part of your.
Not only the object, but the process involved in it. So
Absolutely.
That is why I explained. Correct. Because if it was only object, it's a physical memory. That is perfectly
yes,
fine.
yes.
Yeah.
Good. So I think we will end here. Pramana, Viparya, Vikalpa, Nidra, Smriti. These are the 5 things. I'm sure you would have guessed what is the homework, and yeah, but I'll put it on the group. And you have a lot of time. So you have till about 3rd of October. So a good 15 days to now chew this subject. But I will request everyone, Varda, you've been very cooperative in writing about Manisha, you too. And so I will request everyone to please write about your experiences, because it is only through this intermittent, experiences and the posts that the extra knowledge is going to come. Okay. It is not only this class. The actual class is going to start from now, when you are going to think about it, when you are going to get the awareness of which vritti I am, or what's it, klishta or aklishta. That is that inner journey. Otherwise, what will happen is it will be just a vikalpa, and it will never go inside and become a praman for you.
So it is like now we all have understood the alphabets. अभी हम लोग इसके शब्द बनाने वाले आगे चल के, right? So this is the alphabet of the language. पतंजलि योग सूत्र, ये भाषा के हम लोग अभी अल्फाबेट अक्षर सीखे हैं, उससे हम हमारे शब्द
भाषा बनाए,
उससे हमको भाषा बनानी है उसकी.
चलो, with that we'll close the session.
Yes.
So your hands. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Okay, I
For the
want
further,
to tell one point, that from 19th of this day, we are month, we are offline. हम लोग ऑनलाइन नहीं रहेंगे, हमारे मोबाइल्स विल बी स्विच्ड ऑफ. वी आर इन द आश्रम, तो हमारा एक्सेसिबिलिटी नहीं है. तो जो भी आप
लेकिन बीच में
करोगे वो आपके अंदर चलती रहेगी.
But it's not that we are not allowed to use mobile. We are allowed to use mobile. Only thing is we are not allowed to charge the phone. There is no charging.
They are very smart. There is no charging station only. Use karo mobile, no problem. Charging station.
I love this.
That is the environment.
So when are we meeting next? We are meeting
on 3rd October now.
So on 3rd October, I'll be traveling. I mean, obviously I can watch the recording later.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if it is possible, obviously interacting live is much more valuable.
Correct.
So if it is possible to change that date to later, I'll just put the request out for everyone and let people respond.
Even I am traveling on the 3rd.
Most probably we will not, because this was an exception and we planned for it much earlier. Of course, we have time to plan, but we would not like to do it more often, because it's Tuesday.
Everybody schedules themselves for the day.
But yes, I understand.
So mine would be 3rd October as well. We are like in a cruise, so I don't know whether I'll get a network. I would love to join.
No issue. There will be instances like this, but you will get a chance to revisit. So
yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Fine.
All right. You have a good time, sir.
Yeah, and you can put your any questions you can put on group. Please be interactive on the group itself.
Sure.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.